So the author says, rahimahullah ta'ala, Ibn Hisham, Asl, original text. والفعل المضارع المعتل الآخر, and the mudari' verb with an unsound ending. A mudari' verb with an unsound ending. Meaning, we're still talking about unoriginal i'rab signs. And i'rab appears where it appears at the end of the word. So then the end of the word, it might have a sound letter or an unsound letter. Or if you want, a healthy letter or an unhealthy letter, or a sick letter. All the letters are sound, healthy letters except alif and waw and ya. Those three letters are huruf illah. Huruf illah. Unsound letters or unhealthy letters, because they flip and switch into each other, meaning that the alif could turn into a waw or it could turn into a ya, and the waw, it could turn into an alif or it could turn into a ya, and the ya, it could turn into a waw or it could turn into an alif. Or it could be that all of them, any one of them, just gets omitted altogether, just disappears from the word for some reason or another. So those letters don't stay firm, and that's why they're called huruful illah. And for your information, I already said to you, all the letters are healthy letters, sound letters, except these three. So that includes which letter? Hamza. Hamza is harf sihha, but it's annexed. It's annexed to the huruf illah. That means it can do like them. It's the harf, it's the healthy letter that can do like the sick letters. That's for your information. We don't need that now, though. You'll need that in sarf, though. When you learn sarf and how the words go from one form to another, and then you'll say, hey, where'd the hamza go? Or, hey, where'd the hamza come from? And any one of these could also, they could turn into a hamza sometimes. So keep that on deck for yourself also. فَيُجْزَمُ بِحَذْفِ آخِرِهِ. This type of verb, the fi'l mudari' with an unhealthy ending, its state of jazm would be by omission of its end. Meaning by omission of the last letter. The entire last letter is omitted. naHw, such as lam yaghzu, wa lam yakhsha, wa lam yarm. So lam, as you know, lam, that's the jazm. That's the jazm. That's what's putting the verb into a state of jazm. So lam, harfu nafyin, is a negating particle. Wa jazmin, and it's a jazm particle. Wa qalb, and it's a particle for flipping the mudari' verb's meaning to the past. Lam negates the past, but it comes upon a present / future tense verb. Or if we want to keep it even easier for ourselves, if I want to keep it easier for myself when I'm translating, maybe sometimes I'll say the present tense verb. Or maybe sometimes I'll say the future tense verb. Or maybe sometimes I'll say present / future tense verb. Or maybe sometimes I'll say mudari' verb without translating. So lam is also a harf qalb. It's a particle for flipping the present verb to the past or the future verb to the past. It is valid to refer to the fi'l mudari' as fi'lul mustaqbal, the future verb. And it's valid to call it fi'lul hadir, the present verb. So lam is the harf jazm, meaning it's the jazm. Yaghzu fi'lun mudari'un majzoom. That's a mudari' verb in the state of jazm. Wa alamatu jazmihi hadfu harfi al-illah. And the sign of its jazm is the omission of the unhealthy letter. How do we know which unhealthy letter got omitted? The remaining harakah will prove it for us. When that remaining harakah there was a dhamma, then we knew that what got omitted was a waw. So it was originally yaghzu, yaghzu, with a sukoon on that waw. And then when lem came, we omitted that waw, and all that was left was yaghzu. And you know the rule of stopping in Arabic, so if you stop there, you're going to stop on a sukoon. So you'd say lam yaghz. And if you're learning to speak Arabic, don't feel shy to stop on that sukoon, even if nobody else does it, because that's correct Arabic. That's eloquent fusha. Don't say, I don't want to be the only one sounding weird here. Lam yaghz and lam yakhsh. Lam yakhsha. So again, also, this one originally was yakhsha. With this alif here, which is alif maksura, the alif that has the shape of a ya. In the Quran, you'll see a little alif floating there to remind you that's not a ya. And very often when I write, I put that. So if you were curious what that is, that's that alif floating there reminds you that that's not a ya there. But you don't have to put that alif there. So then, when lam comes and makes the verb majzoom, we're going to wind up omitting this ya altogether. I mean, this alif. We're going to wind up omitting this alif altogether and just keeping a sheen there. So it's going to become lam yakhsh if I stop. How do I know what the omitted letter was? The remaining harakah proves it for me, so I know it was an alif. And so, a general rule in Arabic, not an absolute rule, but it is very often or usual. Whenever you omit something in Arabic, you leave a proof for the omission or a replacement. You're going to leave a proof for what was omitted, or you're going to bring a replacement for what was omitted. But not always. It's not absolute rule. Walam yarm, same thing here. Then the verb was yarmi. Yarmi. And then when lam came upon the verb, the unsound letter got omitted, and then all that was left was this meme with its kasra. So it became lam yarmi, lam yarmi. And if I stop, I'm going to say lam yarm. So just crosses my mind real quick about this ending on a sukoon thing here. Quick digression, and I'll come right back. So when you're learning to speak the Arabic, try to stop on that sukoon. So look here. Don't you know, if you wanted to ask someone a question, you could say, lima, lima, why, lima. That's two words there, the lam and the meme. Lima, why? So usually you talk to someone, if they wanted to ask you like this, they'll say, lima, lima, lima. So what should they say? They should just say, lim. If that's all they're going to say. Lim. And then, so if you know Arabic, then you know what he's saying and why he's doing it. And if you're weak, you wouldn't know, and you might say, huh? And then you'd say, lima, lima, lim. Okay, so. Ash-sharhu, the explanation. هذا الباب السابع مما خرج عن الأصل. This is the seventh portal that departs the origin. The seventh chapter or case that departs the origin. And there are 7 of them in total. So we got to the last one. So we covered what? The 6 nominals, al-asma'u sitta, and ما جمع بألف وتاء مزيدتين, and يعني what was made plural by an additional alif and ta, and جمع المذكر السالم, sound masculine plural, and al-muthanna, dual, and al-mamnu' min as-sarf, what's denied a tanween, and al-amthilat al-khamsa, the 5 models. That's 6. Now we're here. الفعل المضارع المعتل الآخر, which is what the author says here. وهو الفعل المضارع المعتل الآخر. That's the mudari' verb with an unhealthy ending. naHw, such as yaghzu. There's that unsound ending there. وَيَخْشَى وَيَرْمِي. Yaghzu means to invade, like to go on an excursion with an army or a troop. Yakhsha means to be afraid, and yarmi means to throw or to toss. And by the way, I know some of you, you're following along with your own copies. And as you're following with your own copies, are you putting the harakat as it's being read? You should be attempting that. Don't wait to suddenly one day become fast at that. All of a sudden one day, now you're fast and can keep up. So if you're still waiting, if you're following along with your own copying, you're not putting the harakat as they're being read, what are you waiting for? The way you're going to be able to catch up and to keep up in lessons like that is to get started with that, so you get used to it. It's just like writing Arabic. If I said to you, write Yarmi, how do you write Yarmi? So what you're going to do, you're going to come say, okay, Yarmi, which one? Where them dots is that? No, not that one. The word should be done already. Khaz still on the first letter. So I'm not belittling you if that's your case. What I'm saying is, so you work on that, do that, Yani, so you can break yourself in, and then it becomes second nature for you. You want to be able to hear those words and hear those vowels, and your hand will write, and that's it. You don't, that thinking in the middle, that part, you want to close that gap, close that gap, close that gap. This is going to slow you down. He says, فَإِنَّهُ يُجْزَمُ بِحَذْفِ آخِرِهِ بِحَذْفِ آخِرِهِ. Indeed, this type, its state of Jazm is, or its sign of Jazm is by the omission of its end. Its end here means the last letter of the verb. فَيَنُوبُ حذف الحرف عن حذف الحركة. So in this case, the omission of the letter altogether, the omission of that unhealthy letter altogether replaces the original Jazm sign, which would have only been the omission of the vowel. Sukun is the omission of a vowel or the absence of a vowel. Like Yadribu. Okay, that last letter there, that's a healthy letter. Yadribu. And if lam comes, puts the verb into the state of Jazm, we're just going to wind up saying Yadrib. Lam Yadrib. So did something get omitted here? Yes, something did get omitted, but it was merely the vowel, not the whole letter. So when you're dealing with al-mu'tallu al-akhir, and that name also, you need to memorize that. All these names, hopefully you're memorizing those, so you have a list of all those names, right? So this is our cheat sheet here, this translation. 6 nominals, 5 models, etc. But you should be really, for yourself, saying al-asma'u sitta, al-amthilatu al-khamsa, al-mamnu'u min as-sarf, etc. And you're going to say here, all of this, al-fi'lu al-mudari'u al-mu'tallu al-akhir. That's the whole name of this. Al-fi'lu al-mudari'u al-mu'tallu al-akhir. This would be very good for you. Listen, Yani, I think you recognize that for yourself without me telling you that. But when I went to study overseas, for the first time, I already had under my belt, for example, I had already memorized like Jazm, Juz Tabarak. So I didn't have to study that part. And already had obligatory knowledge, but only in my own language I had it. I didn't know Arabic though. But wudu and ghusl and istinja and all that stuff, already had it, alhamdulillah. And even how to write the Arabic, I could write the words, but I just didn't understand Arabic. The point that I'm getting at here by telling you that is to show you how to get yourself set up, or just remind you if you already know. When you put yourself finally into that, when you immerse yourself, and there's no translation going on, you're going to have you're going to have nice floaty device. It's going to keep you up and enable you to keep up with your studies. You're not going to be learning the words anew. You're not going to be learning the terms new. You're going to have an advantage because you're going to know all the stuff. You just don't know the language. Now it's not a matter of learning all those. It's just a matter of learning the language and the rules. You have them already. So you make sure, I'm saying all that to say, you make sure that you are getting these terminologies and names down pat. فينوب حذف الحرف عن حذف الحركة. And so, in this case, the omission of the letter altogether replaces the omission of merely the vowel, while keeping that last letter, had it been a healthy letter at the end. تقول, you say, لم يغز ولم يخش ولم يرم. And all those three, the last letter was omitted altogether. Then let's stop there